Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radhama. Wow, so mellow. Jaya. About to fall asleep there. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Jaya Girivaradhari 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 Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jaya Yashoda Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jaya Jamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari 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 Oh Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna. A little bit louder. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayo Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Radhe Jaya Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladev Jaya Subhadra Jaya Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo Shishi Radha Madhava Ki Shishi Gaura Nitai Ki Srila Prabhupada Ki Nitai Gaura Premanande. Okay, welcome everyone. Let's get into it. Let's do the Mangala Charm prayer straight away. Okay, let's put this back here. Okay, let's just crack on with the Mangala Charm prayers and then we can make a start. Om Jnana Timidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Shunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Ruka Kamamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnava, oh my bad, Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamshcha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so we can do this together. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Let's just do the next one as well, because we did that one last week, isn't it? Nama Pankaja Nabhaya Nama Pankaja Maline Nama Pankaja Netraya Namaste Pankajangraya. Okay, Namaha. What does Namaha mean again? Obeisances. Okay, Pankaja. Lotus. Yes. Okay. Nabi or Nabhaya. What does that mean? Abs. Six pack. From six pack? The first two or the six? No, not quite.
The navel.
Navel. Right? Shamta knows these things, isn't it? Yes, the navel. Okay. And then we have Maline. What's Mala? Garland, yes. You could picture Krishna walking into the forest with his flower garlands. Okay. And then Netraya? Netra? Eyes, right? So it's lotus-like eyes. And then Pankajangraya. What does that mean? Feet. Yes, the lotuses that are engraved on the feet. And his feet is lotus-like as well. Yeah? All right. So what I'll do, just for the benefit of our friends online. Let's see who's online. Also, oh gosh, what's going on here? Oh, yo, Smith, look, just like home. It's just like home, literally, yeah? Okay, everyone else is just being blacked out. Look how dry everyone else is. Oh no, Omika, look. Oh no, we can't get Omika up on there. But look, Darsha, just like a home. Huh? The home is a prison without Krishna. Don't ever forget that, okay? Don't ever forget, all right? All right, let's just put if we're on here, what do I need to do again? I need to take this off and to extend. Once, okay, we're just going to extend this here. All right, does anyone want to share anything from last week? Anything you can remember of notes? Anything revolutionary? Anything striking? Anything whatsoever?
When you talked about taking the ocean, and you said that, you know, quite often people see what Radha Madhava have on the garlands, the outfits, but actually it's more about getting Radha Madhava wanting Radha Madhava to see you, because that's the point at which, when you accept that Krishna, you can be a servant. Yes.
So the idea is we realize I'm not just a seer, I'm to be seen. And actually, when I'm more to be seen by Krishna, that's when life will go according to plan. I was going to make this point later on, because we're speaking about how Krishna protects. Somebody was phoning me up saying, you know, I can't come right now, and they haven't been coming for a while anyway, but right now I can't come because I need some me time. I need some meal, someone to love me. So I was like, okay. So I was just thinking, like, you know, it was because you wanted all of this me time without Krishna, you made these poor choices. That's why you need me time now. And that me time is going to perpetuate the problems with me time in the future. So much for me time, right? So we need to be seen by Krishna. And when we hide away from Krishna, yeah, we get me time. We need me time over and over because it's just been you anyway, right? Isn't it? So we have to understand what the actual disease is. Don't think the solution is back within the disease. It's not. Make sense? Maya will trick you and trip you out in an infinite number of ways. Don't be foolish. It doesn't work like that. Okay, good. Anyone else? Can you remember anything?
Spoke about the verse we just recited now, and broke it down into what the navel signifies and why the navel. And actually, it's quite a unusual order to be glorifying Krishna in, because usually you start from the feet and then upwards.
Normally start from the feet, but here we're starting from the navel, right? And then going up and then back down. Yeah, good. Anything else? Anyone else wants to share? Can you remember?
The 2p.
The two?
You talked about the two sides of a coin, the 2p.
2 pennies that drop.
Oh, the 2 pennies that need to drop. Okay, yeah. All right, yeah.
And you said that the first ones where you recognise Krishna, you recognise Prabhupada, you recognise Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and actually just see that side of things, whereas the other one, so it's where you have faith in Shastra
Yes.
as well.
Okay.
And then the other one is where you're more, you recognise that actually Krishna doesn't always give you everything that you want, and actually when you accept that, that is when.
Nice, yeah. So the first penny, you understand Mahaprabhu, Krishna, Radha, Lord Nityananda, Srila Prabhupada, the Bhagavad Gita, the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Chaitanya Charitamrita. These are all true. There's no Maya in them. That's the first penny that needs to drop, and that could take a long time for many of us. And then the second penny is, once we've accepted that first penny, Krishna may not reciprocate in the way that we think he would or should do.
And that's the unconditional bit, isn't it?
That's the unconditional bit, right? So these two things have to be there. Yeah, well remembered. Okay, anyone else wants to share anything?
I like what you said about
Good, yes. Which was the point? All of it.
when Krishna, there's a difference between what Krishna desires and what Krishna sanctions.
There's a difference between what Krishna sanctions, what Krishna desires from us, right? Yeah, very good. Okay, so we need to be able to separate the two things out. Yeah. Okay, anyone else? Firstly, before we get into that, let's congratulate Anisha for coming back into the Vaishnav Sangha. In case you don't know who Anisha is, it's this short girl right here at the front there. Let's give her a round of applause, okay? She's made an effort. And actually, who else hasn't been coming for a while? Everyone's like trying to shrink away. Oh, then. Who? Who? Huh? No, everyone's here, right? Oh, what's your name? We didn't give you a shout out last week. What's your name again? I've forgotten. Oh, wait, one sec. What's your name? Shilpa. Oh, you got it right. Okay, yeah, well done. Okay, let's give Shilpa a round of applause as well. Shilpa, are you the sole representative of your Bhakti Life group? Is there anyone else from your Bhakti Life group here? Who? Jay, you too. You're the only two reps from your Bhakti Life group. God, the rest of them are sunk, huh? Who? Oh, and Kulwant, the three of you. Wow, the three musketeers only. Spiritual life is difficult, I'm telling you, okay? Got to stay afloat somehow. Okay, good. Anyone else wants to share anything from last week?
Queen Kunti enumerates all the events they went through when she thanks Krishna,
Yeah.
even though he wasn't involved.
Yeah.
Basically, she's grateful that indirectly he's always there.
So
All the events.
some of these events, most of these events, despite Gaurav saying otherwise, Krishna wasn't really there, okay? Like, seemingly he wasn't there. But still, somehow she's seen Krishna there. When nobody else can see Krishna, the devotee can see Krishna. Yeah? And that's how they can become grateful. That's how they can see the bigger plan. Yeah? So the whole goal we were saying a few weeks ago is to see Krishna in that block of wood. That block of wood may be a whole life, it may be a problem, it may be a happy moment, but it's Krishna that's behind everything. Yeah? And the devotee's job is to see that, and then the life will be successful, according to what Prabhupada says. Okay, Hector, no reflections today? What's going on?
Everyone's covered everything.
No, there's only been 4 comments. There must be more, right? Okay. All right, anyone else wants to share something? Or it's okay?
Talked about gratitude and how grateful means, like the Sanskrit is kritagya, to see which is unknown, I think.
Yeah, kritagya, to know what's been done for you. So actually to know it's Krishna that's organizing everything. Up until that point, even if you have a gratitude journal, you express gratitude, your spectrum, like, you know, if you've got one level of gratitude, which is 0, you're not grateful for anyone, you'll think you're God's gift, you don't care about anyone. Then the other side of the spectrum is you're grateful for everything and everyone. But higher, transcendental element to that is knowing that Krishna's behind everything. That person can be grateful, actually. Everyone else can't really see Krishna, therefore they can't really be kritagya in a true sense, in an absolute sense, yeah? It's Krishna that's sending everyone and everything and taking away everyone and everything, ultimately, yeah? In the form of time. Okay, good. Anyone else wants to share anything before we get started? Oh, is someone recording this? I got a few requests to have it recorded, but I can't be bothered, huh? Recorded? Okay, excellent.
Oh. The definition of protection.
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah. Do you want to elaborate a bit more?
Personally and...
We went through that mnemonic, huh? This one here. Let's just go through it. So, in so many ways, Krishna protects us. So, we spoke about this. And I got you to do this homework. Who did the homework, though? Oh, who did the homework? And now I remember what we did last week. Who did the homework? Shivani, no homework? You're in the WhatsApp group, though. You would have seen the message, no? Or you're not in that group anymore. Maybe you shouldn't be in that group anymore. Okay.
Just talking about it in a reflection count as homework.
Talking about in a reflection, yeah?
In a reflective way.
Yeah, that's good. If you're reflecting on it in any way, that's good. All right, so maybe what we could do, because I think it's important to really, for us, like, you know, we could talk about Queen Kunti's prayers, but unless we follow her footsteps, you're not really going to get into it. So we have to try and look back in our life and try and see Krishna where we didn't see him before. Yeah? So this exercise here, discuss how Krishna has manifested his mercy in your life to protect you spiritually. So there's a difference between protecting you materially, protecting you mentally, and protecting you spiritually. Protecting you spiritually means somehow, some way, you're still on the path today, and if you were to look back, you can join those dots. Somehow it's got you to be the person with the personality you have now, to cling to some degree to Krishna's teachings. So there must be something that you must have got some realization, some revelation out of it that perhaps other people didn't. Yeah? Even in your worst adversities in life, how did Krishna protect? How did he protect your understanding? How did he protect you by allowing you to lose faith in Maya, to lose faith in your me time, in your understanding of the world, right? You need to think a little bit about that to be able to see it. And how can you become more grateful for Krishna's mercy that he's shown already? So since only 2 of you did the homework, which is quite disappointing, why not for the next 5 minutes, buddy up with 2 or 3 people, max 3 people, okay? 5 minutes only. You could go through these questions, yeah? And go through the questions, don't talk about anything else. Because you had 1 week to do it and no one's done it, okay? Is that okay? So 5 minutes, okay, crack on with it. Yeah, you can start. So if you're online, please don't space out. If you're online, it means you have to focus even more than the people in person. So for this one, maybe you could write something out on your phone or write on a piece of paper. You could use the mnemonic here to guide you, to make you think a little bit about how Krishna may have protected you at different times. But please do write something in the next 4 or 5 minutes. Reflect hard. It'll be beneficial. Okay, so please everyone online do that.
Keeping me associated.
I'll be there.
in everyday life, even during the times where I might not get on with something, I have not.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. Wow. There you go. Yeah. Okay. And then listen to your colleagues as well. See what they say.
Quantity and intensity, but I have had experiences where I think for whatever reason, they're doing it for matches, and then just try and see his hand in it. And effectively in the sense that it's given me a push punch partner, introduced to someone who's introduced to also like more inclined to spirituality, so it's helping them get more of it. He's protected me by facing things around me, and without that, I'm keeping always in the road. It's like I'm disabled, but I've got the association. That's what the association racial is. They allow you to see. And I'm grateful for friendships. It's like that's the real best. Being engaged in service, that's Christian's message. We chant with the aspect of being engaged. I can obviously increase my consciousness during service and increase my intensity and desire to want to serve. But just whatever little service I have done or have done, that's a blessing.
We've got about 1 minute left.
Also by trying to serve senior missionaries, and that's great. That's my reciprocation of that. That's probably my nature. I can give back to them and try and follow instructions.
Thank you for sharing. Sorry, you got like 60 seconds. I can relate. I've had learning something.
You guys still going strong, huh? Okay. How are you in this group as well, yeah? You guys still going strong, huh? Finished or? Okay, fine. It doesn't sound like you guys are listening there. You guys finished? Yeah? Finished? You guys, yeah, you guys are finished, huh? Did you start? You started at one point. Okay, fine. All right. All finished? Yeah? This is a bit awkward, huh? The Shumpton, tell them to. Yo, you finished? Finished, yeah? Okay, good. Okay. All right, guys. Shanice, you finished, yeah? Okay, good.
I think you'll find that every
Okie dokie. All right. Okay, yeah, Shanice. Do this. Yes, exactly. Thank you for finishing on time. All right. Just out of interest, you can reveal personal info if you want to, but you don't have to at all. Just as a personal reflection, did you find it easy to think about how Krishna may be orchestrating these events in your life, or did you find it difficult? Who found it easy to see Krishna's hand in it? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a bit, yeah? Okay, who honestly found it difficult to see how Krishna is involved at all? Yeah? Okay, and the rest of you are just not voting, or? Huh? No, there's only one option. It was like difficult or not difficult. Yeah, sometimes it's easier. Yeah, okay, fine. For those of you who found it easy, well, let's just start off with that. For those of you who put your hand up and said it was a bit difficult, why did you find it difficult to see Krishna's hand? And there's many reasons. Okay, yeah, Liam.
I think sometimes, like, when I'm in the moment, I'm just consumed by that, the moment of something, or what can I do to rectify this, or what
Yeah.
can I kind of, it's not, to be honest, that my brain's not like, okay, Krishna, what are you trying to tell me?
Yeah. Or you don't even think about that as a process, as part of the reflection.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, cool.
When you're reflecting, you're often looking at the sort of material way. Why me? Why this term, me as a person? You're not looking at it in the spiritual way of Krishna's kind of game he's playing, or how he's orchestrating the events.
Yeah.
See it that way.
It's difficult to see it from the bird's eye perspective, isn't it? Especially when things are difficult. Not just difficult, when things are really going your way, it's also difficult to see it, how Krishna's arranging things. Those of you that put your hands up and said it was easy to do, or relatively easy, how was that the case for you? Did you have to think about it in a certain way? Was there a formula to that, or why would you say it was easy? Yeah, Ajay?
I think, so before I answer that question, I'd suggest that I think both of those were what I used to feel before I was and where I am now with my Krishna consciousness. And I think the more Krishna conscious you are, I find that just devotees are quite calm people, generally. And therefore, in those moments, I find myself doing this now. When those situations occur, I do try to remember, and I think Skip probably said this when we were talking about some of these, is that you're conscious enough to know, hang on, let me think about what Krishna would say in these situations, what is his teachings, what's his thoughts, and so therefore I can see his hand in whatever the situation or circumstances that's going on. I see that better now than I would have 5 years ago, for example.
So is it you're more practiced to try and reflect that way?
Yes.
Is it something like that?
I think that's, I couldn't find the right words. I think you just said the right
It's
thing.
It's fine, We haven't got that much time to kill, you see. But not on the Thursdays anyway. Okay, yeah, cool. It is a practice. It doesn't come natural. It's not just one day you'll start thinking like a sadhu. That's why we have to keep chanting. We've got to keep hearing. We've got to keep associating. We've got to keep beating the ego with a shoe in the morning and a broomstick at the night, as Bhaktisiddhanta used to say. Then we can see beyond the ego. That's why Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, one who learns to see me, they'll be able to pass through any obstacles. But instead of seeing me, or what to speak of seeing me, instead of hearing me, you're guided by your false ego. Krishna says, Vinakshasi, you'll be lost forever. Those are the two choices. You're either guided by your ego. Ego means not that you're thinking you're great. It's you thinking, you the spirit soul thinking you're something you're not. Yeah? Then you're lost, Krishna says. So you need Krishna's instructions, devotees' instructions to help you see beyond that ahankara that's making you think you're something you're not, the illusion. So every so often we say some maxims, aphorisms, phrases. One of my favorite ones that Srila Prabhupada said was, don't take the illusion too seriously. Somehow, some way, you have to have that, whether it's written at home, on your mirror, in your car, in your phone, maybe once or twice a day, somehow, some way, you need to have that reminder to you, me thinking all of this is my playground to enjoy without Krishna anywhere, that is the illusion. Stop taking the dream so seriously. Yeah? You need someone to wake you out of the dream. The more you do that, the more you see beyond the dream. The less you do that, the more engrossed you are in the dream. If it's a nice dream, you feel nice. If it's a nightmare, you feel terrified. But the dream's not the reality. Yeah? Okay, anyone else wants to share something about how they find it easy to do? Yep,
But just a
Sean?
question. How do
Oh,
you
okay.
know if something's happening? You could say this is Krishna, but how do you know you're not making that up? If that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is in the start of your journey. In the start of your journey, it's kind of like starting the experiment. H2O gives you water. How do I know it's not made up, right? You have to go to the laboratory. You've got to try it, and you've got to see it for yourself.
How?
So taking that example, you have to go with a scientist who shows you what all the equipment is, what the bottles are, what hydrogen is, what oxygen is. You do it a few times, you flop, the scientist corrects you, do it this way, then you see it, then you're like, aha, okay. Now let me turn the next page of the science textbook and see what else is there, right? And you get faith. So in the same way, Krishna is saying you have to go to the laboratory of your consciousness. And you have to start doing these acts of sadhana. I know you're kind of relatively new, but we could either catch up later, but in terms of coming here, you pick things up as well. But the practice of bhakti yoga, connect with Krishna and understand Krishna is not just a figure, not a historical figure, not a made-up thing, but actually Krishna is there. He's real. He's beyond space and time. And when you connect with Krishna, just like you get H2O, you get some loving connection that makes you more detached from matter. And you feel more nourished, more happy. You see beyond the mind. And then there's more symptoms that are there. Maybe you lose, I don't know if you guys weren't here last week, right? We went through the stages of Prem. So anyway, we'll keep coming back to the same thing, but there's symptoms. Each stage has got different symptoms. And so you could realize if you are progressing or not progressing like that. Yep. Okay, shall we, yes, Gaurav, yeah.
Bro, I have a different perspective. I mean, we all are born in a Hindu family, and when we are a child, we have a variety of births.
Yeah.
Right? So, this is not for everybody. So my personal feeling is when I was like age 0 to 10, we were allowed to pick any god you want. Okay, whichever you connect to.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you picked Durga, the ladies in the house, if you picked Hanuman. So from childhood till 10 years or 15 years, I thought that everything that happens to me, good or the protection or spiritually, is because of Lord Hanuman. Okay, and since within Hindu culture there are a lot of things in it. So till that time I was thinking everything, the first question, how mercy is coming to you spiritually. For me everything was Lord Hanuman. So is that, going back to that philosophy, if somebody is Christian, I understand that some people light candles to church every Tuesday, and they will feel that everything spiritually happened good to them is because of Jesus. So because in this room everybody is Krishna conscious, it's out that you will think that everything is because of Krishna. So how do you differentiate that thought process?
Yeah, so in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is the one that's sanctioning the system and everyone's ability in the system. Say, for example, you only know your local MP, and you think it's your MP that's doing this and everything's working. But when you broaden your understanding, your education, you understand unless the Prime Minister sanctions that MP, nothing's happening. Yeah? So Krishna, if you look in the Bhagavad Gita, he's saying, the demigods, you and your faith in the demigods, according to the mode you're born in, has been sanctioned by Krishna. The ability of those demigods has been sanctioned by Krishna. So if someone, say, is praying to Hanuman, it's not that they're wrong that Hanuman's not giving them blessings, but what they're not seeing is the complete system.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah?
what when COVID came in, and then I was talking to that. I always wanted to go back to Shastras, but never had time.
Yeah.
And then that connection.
Yeah, so the idea is we respect all the different demigods. Hanuman's not just a demigod, he's a devotee as well. So it's a slightly different category. But yeah, the demigods can give you blessings. But like we spoke about in the course, the demigods could give you blessings if it's according to your karma, and ultimately that's got to be sanctioned by Paramatma. It's not divorced from Krishna in any way. But the demigods could give you what you want. They can't give you immortality. Krishna doesn't necessarily give you what you want, but he'll give you what you need. And we'll be speaking about that in this section because how Krishna protects. Just like if your son came to school today, right?
Yeah.
Your son was proper shocked when he saw me. He didn't know whether you were supposed to behave or be friendly. And I was looking at him thinking, which way is this going to go? And he was initially treating me as a teacher. Then he was kind of cracking a few cheeky jokes. But then he wasn't too sure if he was allowed to do that. So it was a bit of rasa bus actually today. All the devotee kids, they look at me. They don't know, is this a Sunday program, Sanatan Gopal? Or is this teacher Sanatan Gopal? And I'm also looking at their teachers for guidance. Can I joke with them? Or would you have a difficult time if I joke? So they don't, whatever, just do whatever you want. It's a tricky situation. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to see how Krishna protects and how that system is part of that as well. So is it okay if I go to the next slide? That was the point I was going to make, yeah? It's fine?
Just a quick question. Just
Yeah.
the last bit, time.
Last week, yeah, time?
Yeah, what? Could you just elaborate a bit on what?
No, I said a few things. Sometimes it's time that heals. Sometimes it's time that reveals. You know, when you're very emotional, very upset. Basically, when we're emotional and very upset, it's because we're very attached to our understanding of the situation and how things should go according to our understanding. Whereas a devotee could very quickly let things go. Isn't it? If you look at Srimad Bhagavatam, devotees, it's okay. They're not just saying it's in Krishna's hands, yo. They actually understand and can see, no, this is in Krishna's hands. Yeah? So that's kind of the difference. And also I gave the example, it's a bit cliche, but of the caterpillar becoming a butterfly, and if you release it too early, in that struggle, then you kill it. So actually, we know when we're praying to, I should have added that poem. That was the thing I was supposed to add. Anyway, too many things on my head. But when we're praying to Krishna, please give me patience, please give me humility, please give me the desire to come back to you. And then you're in a difficult situation and you're saying to Krishna, why? Krishna's like, well, this is going to give you humility. This is going to give you desire to leave Maya, right? This is going to make you like that, the diamond. It needs to be like under a lot of pressure, right? To shine for that. The Atma to have its natural symptoms shine through. So then Krishna's like, you're asking for these things, no? So sometimes time reveals. Bhishma says to Yudhisthira, you know, all the difficulties you and your brothers went through, this could only be possible because of the inconceivable nature of time. And time is coming from this person, Krishna, he's saying. So sometimes we have to trust Krishna in the form of his time to reveal the answers. We can't just demand it straight away. Our faith in Krishna is proportional to the degree we allow ourselves to be patient with Krishna as well. Is that okay? Okay. Is that right now? Can I go to the next slide? Otherwise we're going to be going backwards in terms of progress here. So what I did, these next couple of verses, they're not from Queen Kunti's prayers in the Srimad Bhagavatam. They're from a book of verses and poetry compiled by Rupa Goswami. Basically he's looked at different acharyas that are not so famous, but nonetheless their poetry is very devotional, and he's put these verses together in a book called Pajavali. I've just put a couple of verses here because it's to do with the theme of how Krishna protects. You know, sometimes if your reputation is taking a hit and you're insisting that, yes, I've helped someone, I'm protecting someone, you're taken to court, okay? And what happens to verify that you are of good character, of sound character, you could get people to testify. What do they call them? Character defendants or is there a term? Character references? No, there's something better than that. Character. Anyway, don't worry, you don't know what it is. And I've forgotten what it is. Okay, there's a technical term. Anyone does law here? Law? Hector, is there a term for it? No, okay, no, you don't know what you're talking about either. There's a better term. Trust me, there's a better term. You need a better lawyer for this stuff. But they could testify for you, essentially. So here, we've got, I think it's 6 people or 5 people, devotees that are going to testify for Krishna's character. Okay, they're going to take the witness stand and say, no, actually, Krishna is better than all of us in this room. All of us are thinking, he's okay, sometimes he's a bit dodgy. They're going to say, no, Krishna is that person. Okay, so they're going to testify. So let's quickly read this out. Who's going to read out this verse without even looking at the verse? That's the real confidence right there. Who's got confidence in their English reading skills? Okay, Gaurav. Okay, Gaurav, go for it.
Testifying for Krishna.
Yeah, no, the verse bit, yeah. That bit's the easy part, okay? Even Hector had that bit, right?
He
okay.
displays parental affection, he promises fearlessness, he removes the suffering of the afflicted. He is magnanimous, he destroys the sin of the miscreants, and he grants unlimitedly auspicious position to those who take his shelter. Because Bhagwan Shripati, the husband of goddess of fortune, possesses these characteristics, he is beyond a doubt the one and only object of worship for the whole world. Prahlada, Vibhishan, Gajendra, Draupadi, Ahalya, and Dhruva, respectively, are direct proof of these virtues of the Lord.
Nice, okay. Okay, yes. The term is character witnesses, okay? That's the thing I was looking for, okay? Character witnesses, all right? They're witnessing the person's character, their integrity, and it's not just like here and there, actually persistently, consistently, they're of good character, good virtue. So there's 6 categories here, which I've highlighted to make it a bit easier on the eye. So parental affection or vatsalya. Then we have fearlessness. What's the Sanskrit for fearless? Yes, abhay, yeah. So bhai means boy, and abhay or abhay is, why are you guys looking at each other like confirming? Some camaraderie going on here, huh? Okay, fine, all right. All right, fearlessness, and then if someone's going through suffering, he takes that away. And magnanimous, what does magnanimous mean? Anyone knows what that word means?
Great in nature.
Great in nature, yeah, in what aspect are they great? Huh?
Abundant.
Yeah, so they're very charitable, okay? They're very giving, okay? And destroys sins, grants unlimitedly auspicious positions to those who take his shelter. And who are the 6 character witnesses? Let's go through them one by one. So the first thing he talks about is that vatsalya, parental affection. And for that example, this author gives Prahlad Maharaj, okay? So Prahlad Maharaj, did Prahlad have a father? There might be some people here who don't know who Prahlad is, right? Is there any pictures here? He's not, huh? There's a picture there? Where?
Yes.
No, yeah. Alright, yeah, fine. There's a picture. I meant something more graphic. Okay. But Prahlad Maharaj, yeah, you can see there's a small picture on the altar. On the left-hand side of that picture, there's this half man, half lion form of Vishnu. Nara Simha. Nara means man, Simha means lion. There's a demon that he's ripping the intestines out of. That's the demon father of the little boy you might be able to see. That's on the left-hand side. And that boy is called Prahlad. There was a movie out to that effect recently as well. Huh? Yes, okay, so I think this is on Netflix now, is it? I've been told. I don't know. I've been told, okay? I don't have a Netflix subscription. I didn't see it in the cinema because I had better things to do. But anyway, apparently I was told it's a very devotional film anyway, nonetheless. So I have to go back on that and I need to see it now. But anyway, so this Prahlad Maharaj was a 5-year-old boy. And as soon as his father found out he was devotional, even though his father's a demon and he managed to conquer everywhere, the 3 planetary systems, all the demigods used to bow down to him. He's so powerful, it said he reversed the system of karma. So you know, normally if you do good things, you go to heaven. He reversed it. Yeah, that's shocking, right? You do bad things because you're now in his club, he'll take you to heaven. And Indra and the demigods have all moved out now. So it was that powerful. So Prahlad Maharaj never really got any affection from his father. In fact, he's one of the original cases of child abuse. Every single way you could try and kill a child, okay? He had that plus more, isn't it? RSPCA, oh yo, they would have to, you know, their document. Or RSPCC. And RSPCA, because it's half man, half lion, they both would come together. So many documents would come for that. You might need a few trials. I rescued myself there, okay? All right, quick thinking. But so how does the Lord come? Krishna in the form of Vishnu, Vishnu in the form of the incarnation comes as Prahlad's father, like the replacement. And if you remember, those of you who were with me and we did the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Sanatan Goswami says, when Nrsimha comes and he kills the demon and he's cool, and then Prahlad Maharaj eventually goes, because he's taken the form and the mood of a lion, he starts licking Prahlad like his own cub. Okay? So Prahlad is saying, no, I got that Vatsalya Ras, that parental affection that I was missing. And in fact, the opposite, I didn't even have it, and my father was trying to kill me. I got it actually from Krishna in the form of Nrsimha, right? So then in the next category, what's the next category? Next category is one who's taken away abhay, which means fear. Or he gives them fearlessness, okay? Or he gives the vow of giving fearlessness. So the example here, what's the next name? Vibhishana. Who's he? Ravan's brother. So you may recall what happened? Okay, this looks serious.
It's not happened. So what happened? What time you finished today?
Maybe 8:45. But I could lock up. I've got the key.
No, you can't lock now because we got contractor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when you come out,
Yeah.
I lock all the door.
Okay.
If the van is not front, then you need to lock. But if van is in front,
Yeah.
so they're working tonight. I think like they have to do.
Oh,
service.
same thing last Thursday. They also were there later.
so
Okay, I
don't
could have a look and see. If they're there, then I won't lock it.
All right.
Hare Krishna. Okay. All right. DA entered the waiting room. Who's that? Okay. What were you speaking about? Yeah, Vibhishan. So Vibhishan, what happened famously in the Ram? Quick story, yeah, quickly. Like what happened? No, yeah, that happened. But like just before he became king of Lanka, that really is the quick story of it. Yeah, but just before that, what happened? Huh? Switch sides. So do you remember they were plotting to kill Ram? Ravan had already kidnapped Sita. Now they're building a bridge. They want to kill him. And Vibhishan, who's Ram's younger brother, but he was a devotee from birth, he was trying to say, no, just return Sita, call it a day, call a truce. They were taking the mick out of him. They were calling him a coward. So despite that, he defected from the side of Lanka, and he flies with his entourage and he comes to Ram. But at that time, some of the Vanaras, the lead Vanaras, the monkeys, they were saying, no, you can't trust him. He's also a demon. Look at him, he looks like a demon. At any time, he could just fly away and give our secrets away. We should trap him, we should torture him, we should kill him. The only one that was saying we shouldn't was Hanuman. So then what does Ram do? He says a few things, but this is one of the most famous statements he says. Can someone read this one out? Sakrideva Prapanayas. Who'd like to read out the English?
My vow that if one only once serious surrenders unto me, saying, my dear Lord, from this day I am yours, and prays to me for courage, I shall immediately award courage to that person, and he will always remain safe from that time on.
Yes. So just sakrid, just once if someone says, sakrid eva prapanayas tava smiti chayatate, that I'm yours. I abhayam savada dasmai. Like from that time onwards, I've given abhay, fearlessness. This is my vow, okay? This is my vrat, Ram saying, yeah? So very powerful. So now Vibhishan saying, I came, nobody trusted me, but because I said to Ram, I surrender to you, Ram just took me in. And he gave me fearlessness. He said, don't worry, no one's going to say anything, going to do anything. I'll install you as the king in Lanka one day. Yeah? So you can imagine Vibhishan's taking the witness stand, and then this is what he's saying. This is what happened in my experience, actually. Yeah? So I could trust him. Always I could trust him. Then what's the next category? No, category. Suffering, yeah. Arta ati. So like this suffering, one who takes away this distress in our life, removes the distress of the distressed. So who's the example of that one, did he say, Rita? Gajendra. So very quickly, who's Gajendra, for those of us who don't know?
King of the elephants.
King of the elephants, he's in the heavenly planets, yep. And what happened?
He gets bitten by a crocodile.
Crocodile comes, bites him, and? I'm really stringing out this story here, yeah? Okay, just like, yeah.
He struggles for hundreds of years.
Yeah, struggles for celestial time periods, yeah, then?
Then they both get liberated.
No, yeah, that's like the Gaurav style, right? It's like you go from step 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're at 95. It's just like there's like a few more steps there. Yeah, okay. Who was saying?
Gives a flower from the well.
Yeah. Actually, I think it was a lotus flower, but yeah.
Because he remembered from his past history.
Okay, now it's coming together, right? Okay, yes, yeah.
That he did some good deeds.
Yeah.
So he offered the flower, and then Krishna reciprocated.
Yes, okay, so Gajendra, he had full faith in his family, in his entourage. He was the king of the elephants. He didn't have to bow down to anyone. Then he went into that beautiful celestial lake. A crocodile came. There's a whole background to this as well. I'm not going to get into this today. But those of you who came with me to Mayapur this time and last time, you remember when we went to Nandanacharya's house? We looked at the pictures and I told you like the secret of this story as well. But the crocodile came, grabbed, and they were fighting. But because the arena is that of water, the crocodile is getting stronger with time, and the elephant, who's more used to land, is getting weaker and weaker. And Prabhupada here classically said, to fight against Maya, you have to find an environment where you stay strong, not fight where you're weak. Yeah. So what happened was at that time when he realized my wives, my children, my brothers, my entourage, my bodyguards, and even my own physical strength, my mental prowess, none of these things can save me. Somehow, some way, he just grabbed with his trunk a lotus flower and he offered it to the sky and he started saying these spontaneous prayers, which was actually coming from a previous life. In this life, he's not done any bhakti. And then eventually he's saying, can the master of everyone come? And then all the other masters of this world are looking at one another thinking, well, he's not calling me, so who comes? Vishnu comes. Yeah? So Vishnu comes, and as Rita was saying, he ends up liberating both of them. Okay? So Gajendra is saying, I just offered one flower. Just one flower, right? Patram pushpam phalam toyam, right? Just one flower, and then Krishna liberated me. He saved me from the difficulty there, and he saved me ultimately from the difficulty of material life. Yeah? Okay, good. And then the next category, what was that again? Magnanimous, yes. And who's the example that's testifying for this? Draupadi. So what happened with Draupadi? She was saved in particular twice. One we've spoken about already. Who can remember?
Unlimited amounts of cloth.
Yes, right. Do you remember the name of Vishnu, which has that secret meaning? We spoke about this in 1 week. Adoksaja Vishnu or Adoksaja Krishna. Yes, Adoksaja, one who was appeared in that game of Aksha, dice, which was lowly, Adha, right? Adoksaja. So what happens was there he supplied Draupadi with unlimited amounts of cloth. And the other time we've also discussed as well was that time when Durvasa Muni came with his 60,000 disciples and was demanding something to eat. And so what happens, like that Akshay Patra, it finished for the day, couldn't supply any more food because Draupadi had eaten. Otherwise, prior to that, can supply unlimited amounts. They're praying to Krishna. Krishna comes, he takes a little bit of shak from one corner of it, eats it, and because Krishna is the root of everyone in existence, all of those disciples and Durvasa Muni became satisfied. So very magnanimous. You just give Krishna something little, right? Or commonly we say you take one step towards Krishna, he takes unlimited number of steps towards us. Yeah? Our steps in the material world don't take us anywhere. Krishna's steps are unlimited, coming from the spiritual world. Yeah? So Krishna is the most magnanimous. You know, we spoke about causeless mercy. And then, what's the next category after that? Destroyer of sin. Yes, exactly. And what's the example of that one? Ahalya. Yeah, so who is Ahalya? Who knows?
The wife of a rishi.
Yep. Anyone knows? That's good? Yeah, you know all the answers. Why are you just like saying it part-time answers here? Yeah, Gautama Rishi, yeah? In the Ramayana, yeah, exactly. So it's also in the other scriptures like Padma Purana. So there's some variations of what happens to Ahalya. What actually happened? What was the incident? Does anyone remember?
Yes.
Yeah, Gaurav, okay. Okay, Gaurav, just tell the whole story. Come for it, yeah?
The Indra Maharaj prayed something and then he was cursed by his husband Gautam Rishi.
Yeah.
And he was turned into stone.
Okay, that's the most vaguest retelling of that story I've ever heard, okay? Yeah, Indra was involved. What happened was Indra seduced Gautama's wife, Ahalya. He came in the form of Gautama. And so what happened was initially Ahalya was taken aback thinking it's my husband, but he's acting a bit differently. But then it's described. So the main source we should go to is the original Ramayana, which is the Valmiki Ramayana. Valmiki Ramayana is described that Ahalya knew it was Indra, despite knowing she still was intimate with him. And then when Gautama caught them in the act, Gautama cursed both Indra and Ahalya. We won't talk about Indra right now. But Ahalya, what was the curse? Yes, so some retellings, like in the Padma Purana, she becomes stone-like. In the Valmiki Ramayana, she takes on an invisible form and she can't eat anymore. She has to just subsist on air. Basically, Gautama says, unless you do austerities and purify your consciousness, then you stay in this form. But if you do austerity, if you do tapasya, you'll stay like this up until the time that the Lord himself in the form of Ram will come and he will liberate you. Yeah? So in one sense, some people say Ahalya wasn't at fault. In the Valmiki Ramayana it says that she at one point did know what was going on, but maybe she was overcome by lust at that point. But she was therefore very sinful in that time, especially this is in Treta Yuga especially. And she was a renunciate too. But what happens despite having that karmic reaction, just the dust from the feet of Ram liberated her. And she was able to go back to that previous relationship, fully purified, normal consciousness. Yeah? So Ahalya's example is there. And then what was the last category in this slide here?
It grants limited auspicious positions to those who take his shelter.
Yeah, wow, that's well read, yeah? Yes, exactly. Unlimited auspicious positions. And what's the example of that? Dhruva Maharaj. So can someone give me a very quick summary of Dhruva's Leela?
I'm not very good, but I'll try.
Okay.
His dad had 2 wives.
Okay, no, yeah, we don't need a whole lineage, just Dhruva, yeah.
And first wife wasn't she wasn't favourable. She wouldn't let Dhruva Maharaj sit on his father's lap.
Okay, yeah.
Not worthy of it.
Yes.
So Dhruva got very upset, and then he ran away.
Yeah.
He went to his mom that, I don't know.
Okay, that's good so far. So he went to his mother, Sunichi, and then?
He was angry and he wanted a bigger kingdom than his grandfather, which was
Yes, yeah.
And then he came across, I'm just cutting short, but he came across Nardamuni in the forest, and Nardamuni gave him a mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and he started meditating, started chanting that, started doing tapasya, and he was so intensely doing tapasya that Lord Vishnu came afterwards, and he was pleased and gave him his own planet.
Yeah.
Took him to the Dhruva Lok.
Yes, excellent, yeah. So the idea is Dhruva started off only with material desire. That, my stepmother made me feel I wasn't worthy of my father's lap. I want to get revenge. I want to be having a kingdom that's bigger. Forget about his kingdom, even greater than my great-grandfather, who's actually Brahma. So it's almost like Mission Impossible. In this universe, how can you have something that's bigger than Brahma? But he did austerities in the forest. He was chanting that mantra. He was subsisting from food to just leaves to just air at one point. He was so determined. Narad Muni tried to put him off, saying, you're just a young boy, you're a Kshatriya. It's normal to get red-blooded. Just go back home. He was like, you either help me or you leave me. So despite only having material motives, he followed his spiritual master's instruction. Vishnu comes and Vishnu gives him a spiritual planet in the material world, which we'll talk about later. But that's
he, in the end, lose the desire for it after he got it?
Yes, yeah, he did. When he got it, he eventually, not even upon getting it, just as soon as Vishnu appeared to him, he said, I was basically praying for shards of glass, so he eventually realized it. But the point I'm trying to make is, in terms of this category, Krishna being unlimitedly auspicious and offering auspicious positions, Dhruva could say, yeah, you can vouch from, I could vouch for that, for sure. I got the same thing, yeah? So this is an interesting way to think about it. I've got another poem or a verse that's related to this, also about Krishna, so let's just very quickly go on to that.
Who said this? Who was it?
I didn't write down the author, but this is the 7th verse, so you can look it up online. They're different authors, basically. Altogether, there may be over 50 different authors. Yeah, so it's not all of them are famous. So similar way, let's have a read of this one here. This verse is about how good qualities, if you've got many good qualities but you don't have bhakti in your life, that doesn't please Krishna. Okay, can someone read out this verse for me? This is also from the Padyavali. Anyone else would like to read this out?
Some say he's pleased only with virtuous behaviour, but what piety was there in the hunter Dharma, who spent his whole life killing innocent animals? Others say that one must be nature to please the Lord, mature to please the Lord. But Dhruv was only 5 years old. Some say that Bhagavan was most impressed with erudition.
Yeah.
But was the Elephant King Gajendra a great scholar? If Prabhu is attracted by beauty, how did
Kubja
harm him? If Bhagavan is happy with his work with wealth, then what about the impoverished Sudama? If high birth is the only means to please Bhagavan, then what would have happened to
Viduraji.
And if the Prabhuji is attained by strength, then how did the weak
Ugrasen,
incarnated in Kamsha's prison, get his favour? Such is Madhava's affection for his devotees.
So let's quickly break this down. This author is saying, what are the good qualities in these devotees that made it from a material point of view? So we'll go through them one at a time. Let's go through the hunter. So this hunter, some of you may not know, or maybe many of you may not know. This hunter, huh?
It's Mugari, is it?
No. You want another guess? No.
Something like that.
Yeah, they all like it, I guess, right? In one sense. But no, it's not like that either, Rita, okay? All right, this hunter Dharma, okay? Dharma Vyad. Vyad is a word for hunter. So Dharma Vyad, what happened was, actually, let me just give you some background information. So this is described in a scripture called the Adi Purana but it's also written by our acharyas in the 11th canto too. So there was this king called Vasu. He was a devotee of Vishnu, but he was more into doing charitable acts, and he hadn't developed love for God yet. So what happened was, he used to go hunting, and one time, unknown to him, there was a brahmana on the banks of the river. And he ended up shooting that brahmana, and he kills that brahmana. And it was a transcendental arrangement because he didn't even know that it was a brahmana he killed. He thought it was an animal, and he left off, and he was still doing acts of, you could say devotional acts, but in a more mundane way, more charitable way. That was mainly his focus. So he was unaware, and it said that sometimes if you get killed in a very violent way, you could become a ghost. So that brahmana became a rakshasa, like a sort of a subtle entity, a little bit demonic as well. Anyway, fast forwarding some time later, that king, Vasu, he died. And because he died, and he was a devotee of Vishnu, but more like, he hadn't achieved love of God, let's just say, put it this way. And he was more into charity and eating prasadam, but he hadn't got love of God. For people who are devotees of Krishna or Vishnu, but they've not got love of God, they go to Vaikuntha, which is in this material world, Prapanchik. Prapanchik means of the 5 elements. So in this world, there's also a Vaikuntha. So just like we spoke about Dhruvaloka, that's a Vaikuntha in this material world. And the idea, so sometimes, in some scriptures you hear, if you do this for Vishnu, if you do this on Damodar, like time, or Kartik Mash, you go and you enjoy for so much time, but then you come back. That's because they go to Prapanchik Vaikuntha, not the real Vaikuntha, or the original Vaikuntha. So this Vasu went to that Vaikuntha, but this Brahmana ghost merged into his body at the time that he left. So then what happened after that is when the king went to that Vaikuntha, he got darshan of Vishnu and the devotees, and also this ghost inside his body also got darshan of Vishnu, of the devotees, got to do some service, that type of thing. So the ghost also benefited. So then, like I said, because it's in this material world, after his allotted time finished, he came back, the king Vasu came back, and he was born in a family of devotees to carry on his journey, right? But what happened to that Brahmana? That Brahmana was born in a family of hunters, and he got the name Dharma. But despite being born in a family of hunters, he was actually non-violent from birth, and he just didn't take part in the family trade. And he went on to become a devotee. He went to Jagannath Puri, and in Jagannath Puri is quite famous, his poetry is quite famous. So it said one night he was spontaneously reciting these prayers to Jagannath, and that night Jagannath came and embraced him and he passed away. Yeah, and he went back to the spiritual world. So why is this story being mentioned by our sadhus in our lineage, the acharyas? Is the idea is this Brahmana was just like a typical Brahmana. He didn't have any love for Krishna. He got killed in a very impious way. And then when he was born again, he was born in a family of hunters, right? There's nothing pious about that. Still, in that lifetime he achieved love for God. So what good qualities did he have? Nothing, right? Yeah, he got the highest gold. So does that make sense? This is why his name is being mentioned here. Okay, then what about Dhruva? How old was Dhruva again when he reached perfection? 5, right? So the idea is he was only 5. He didn't have to do austerity for a long time. He didn't have to practice till he was 15, what to speak of 50 years old. It was almost like a child prodigy. What effort was it from his side? Just 5 months, 6 months, that was it, and he was perfect, right? So hardly anything, right? What good qualities did he amass then? Nothing really, right? He just did austerities for 5 months. Like say if I said to you, if you just do 16 rounds for 6 months, you get love of Godhead. I mean, we'd all be into that for sure. But then Krishna would say, well, what good qualities have you got for me? You can't really say anything, right? Such a short period. To become a master of any trade, you've got to spend time, decades even, right? Dhruva didn't even have to do that. So he was not mature in age, not mature in practice, none of these things. So what good qualities did he have, really? Nothing, right? And his initial motive was in the mode of passion. Still, he got perfection. Yeah? Despite not having any good material qualities. No, he's saying it's not the effort. It was only, that's the point I'm making. It's only 6 months. Most sadhus have to do decades of tapasya. He's making the point Dhruva didn't need to do that. So he didn't have that many good qualities. Yeah, some good qualities, obviously, but in proportion to other people, it's like that much, right? Okay, and then what about Gajendra? He has no knowledge in his lifetime. He's born in an animal form, didn't have any material education, definitely didn't have any scriptural upbringing or qualities. He was just in the mood of heavenly damsels, just enjoying with his entourage, right? All he had was memory and knowledge from a previous life, but this is known as bhakti vidya, knowledge born from bhakti. But it wasn't of his own doing in this lifetime. Does that make sense? So he didn't have any other form of scriptural knowledge, didn't study Vedanta. He was just simply enjoying, no education, yet Vishnu came and saved him. Right? So where was the good qualities there? He wasn't even in a human form there. Right? Then, who's the example of that? After that, we've got Kubja. So who's Kubja? Hunchback lady, right? And so basically, where does Krishna meet Kubja? In Mathura, right? And so Kubja is hunchback, she wasn't so good to look at, and people probably would just neglect her, ignore her. But when she saw Krishna, she developed this amorous passion for Krishna. But if you think about it, what did Kubja offer? She couldn't even offer beauty, she didn't have that. She didn't have riches, she just offered a few perfumes. That was it. She didn't really offer the fruit of youth, even. You can't even say that, right? She just offered her material body. What is the material body? Some of you are very proud of your material body, okay? But your material body, even if you're in the height of your good looks, like Darshak is right here, okay? Let's just say, for example. Okay, no judging here, okay, Darshak? Darshak's a bit like a fresh pint of milk. Tastes good, looks good, nutritious, but you leave out the fridge for a few hours, what happens? Yeah, it goes off, right? That's what everyone's like. Everyone's like a pint of milk. You guys are giving yourself so much credit. You're going to go off. It's just a matter of time, right? Conditions are right, you'll go off a lot earlier as well. So imagine offering Krishna some gone off milk. I mean, what good quality is there? Like, have you got no common sense? So this author is just, what can you say? Can't say anything about this, right? And then after Kubja, who's the next example here? Siddharma. Okay. So just very quickly, in case anyone doesn't know, Siddharma, what's his story? What does he do?
He was his best friend, but he was living in poverty.
Yeah, so at school they were best friends, they were classmates. But outside of that, Krishna went on obviously to become a king in Dwarka. Siddharma is an impoverished brahmana. Then what happens?
Rice.
Yes, yeah. No, that's okay, that's fine. So, yeah, who could fill in the gap?
So the Sudama's family is so poor, the wife says you have to do something. Go see your friend from childhood, Krishna, and he's a king. He has so much wealth and he feels really bad that I don't want to go to my friend and ask for money. But still he goes and and then Krishna welcomes him very nicely. He's so happy to see him, and then he said, oh, did you bring something for me? And then he couldn't say, oh, I've just got rice. You live in a palace, why would I offer my friend some rice? But Krishna still takes the rice and, or something like that, something.
Yeah.
Is it rice?
He forcibly takes that chipped rice, right? Yeah, husk rice, right? And then what happens to Siddharma when he goes back home?
He's very wealthy.
Yeah, that's an understatement, right? I was expecting some real crescendo ending there, and you're like, yeah, he did well for a bit of him, right? Yeah. No, he did really well, Smith. Like, really, really, really well. Okay? So...
His house got fulfilled with all...
Yeah, it was like a palace he went back to. He initially couldn't recognize his wife because she, what do they call it now? Glammed up, glowed up, or whatever they call it, right? She had one of these things going on. And maidservants, as well, dasis around her. He was still in his normal cloth type thing, It was like, what the hell is going on here?
Krishna washed his feet as well.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we're going back in the story now. But yeah, okay, well done. Yeah, Krishna also did some service, right? But so if you look at it from a material perspective, what good things did Siddharma have to offer? He didn't even have a good offering. It was chipped rice, which is the cheapest rice, which I had to beg from a neighbor. And he had it underneath his armpit. Can you imagine if someone comes and says, oh, Smith, I've got this for you right here. No, eat it now, now. Open it now, eat it now, right? Okay? It's been heating up, eat it while it's warm. Okay, so Siddharma didn't have any wealth, isn't it? He didn't have any wealth to give. Yet Krishna gave him so much, right? Unlimited amount. Okay, and then the last example here? Oh no, second to last example. Vidura. So did Vidura have any high lineage? Was he born as a brahmana? He was born from the maidservant, right? If you're comparing to Pandu, to Dhritarashtra, he was just seen as a Shudra.
But wasn't he the son of Vyasadeva?
Yeah, but you're right. They both had the same father, but they were treated differently. Because he came out the womb of the maidservant, he wasn't seen as royalty. So he even had to live away from the palace. And everyone really didn't take him so seriously, right? In fact, the only ones that took him seriously, who were able to see beyond caste, were the Pandavas, because they're devotees. But everyone else didn't really give him two hoots worth. They're like, yeah, let's just take some advice, he's wise, but when it comes down to it, we'll just override what he has to say, isn't it? So no high lineage, not born in a Brahminical family. From one point of view, he's like a Shudra, looked down upon the other members. What goodness did he have? He didn't have anything, right? Yet he was one of the closest associates of Krishna. Krishna preferred his company to Duryodhana's company. Okay, and the next example, last example here. Ugrasena. So Ugrasena, does anyone know who Ugrasena was? Yes. Okay, so he is the king. And Krishna still allowed him to remain as the king, okay, of Mathura and Dwarka. But, I mean, how strong was he? He was imprisoned by his own son, isn't it? How much power, how much influence does he have? He doesn't have any of these sort of things. He didn't demonstrate any immense capabilities in his life. Still, Krishna allowed him to go back as the king, as remain as the king. And in that way, he took part in Krishna's Leela. So what good qualities did he have? Even as a king, he wasn't like a great Kshatriya or anything. We don't have any sort of information in that regard at all. He was protected by Krishna. Still, Krishna allowed him to stay as a Kshatriya, right? And took his devotion. So the point this author is making is all of these individuals, they got direct darshan of Krishna and therefore perfected their lives despite not being the best in their categories. Often being the worst. Often being depleted of what you would need to be noticed in that category. Yeah? They were often the worst of the worst from one point of view. They had no good qualities from that point of view. Still, Krishna was pleased by their bhakti and not by their lack of good qualities from a worldly point of view. So what can we learn about this from a more practical point of view when we look at other devotees around us? Okay, well, we're talking at one time, yeah? We are? Okay, good. All right, fine. Smith, you could go first, okay? Yes, you can't judge from the externals because bhakti is ultimately internal. Yeah? Yep. Okay, we're doing the same thing. Okay, Bhavik and then Neelam could go, yeah.
When you're quite new, you see all the other devotees think, oh God, look at how much they've done, look what they've done, I'm never going to get to that level.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be kind of at this low level, and what am I compared to them? So you kind of think, what's the point of my bhakti?
Yeah, nice. Neelam, you want to say something?
Just going on to that, you don't know where somebody has finished off previously to be able to come in, so you don't know how elevated they were in their past life, and they may have just come in looking like somebody that's new, but actually we never know. It's not judging a book by its cover, isn't it, like Smith said?
Yeah, I think that's really nicely put. You can't judge a book by its cover in general, but especially not in bhakti for sure. So if you're around and somebody materially isn't so well educated, they can't speak properly, they may not have, let's say, common sense, and you're thinking, therefore, I'm more elevated than such and such a person, or I've got a massive head start over such and such a person, you haven't understood anything, nothing. You're still in the world of just seeing the externals, therefore you're going to come back to the material world, because you just want to see the externals. Bhakti, Krishna is forcing you to go beyond that to see the essence of someone. And on a similar chain of thought, if you're in this world and you're that individual and you karmically, you just don't have much good karma going your way, okay? And the only thing you have going for you is you're on this journey of bhakti, then your life is successful. That's the only good thing worth happening from Krishna's point of view. Any other good quality that you have, unless you use in Krishna's service, Krishna doesn't really rate it, because Krishna's the one that gave it to you. Krishna's the one that sanctioned it, right? We're saying Krishna's hand behind everything. Krishna's the one that karmically, if you're meant to be good looking, not meant to be good looking, it wasn't anything to do with you. Krishna had to sanction it. It's his system. So then why take that so seriously? It was not nothing you did, right? So like I said, don't take the illusion too seriously. Does anyone have any quick reflections after we've gone through these two very beautiful bits of poetry before we go to the next verse? Would anyone like to share something? Reflect? No? Yeah, Smith?
It's quite interesting. Madhva, the wife of Lakshmi, who's abundant in wealth. And I was just kind of thinking about that, and still, despite having that, he's still so attracted to all the devotees that don't have it. So
yeah, exactly. And it's Lakshmi that's running after Krishna, right? She wants to be noticed by Krishna. Yeah, nice point. Okay, so what we'll do, what time is it now? 8:28. Let's just quickly do an introduction to the next verse. So we did 23 and 24 because they were kind of linked, if you remember. And we're on this theme of what do we need to do to see Krishna. So now the question might be, what else do we need to do to see Krishna? Recently we spoke about gratitude, right? As one of the qualities. Queen Kunti says we have to learn to see him first philosophically. Okay? That is also part of darshan. To see Krishna philosophically, that is the foundation to see Krishna actually. Yeah? So we spoke about gratitude, we spoke about why we're taking shelter of Krishna's feet. Now we need to build on that by understanding a bit of philosophy. So let's just quickly read out verse 25. Anyone who's not read thus far can read out verse 25. Oh, Neelam, do you want to read? You could tag team people in this way, yeah? Okay. It's like WWF back in the day.
All those calamities would happen again and again.
Ooh, wait, let's rewind. This is the verse. The verse. This is the verse why devotees don't like Queen Kunti's prayer. And they only think about this one verse, by the way. Okay, now you got to say this, like, you know, with some oomph, okay? Say it like you mean it.
I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again, so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer be repeated births and deaths.
Okay, so any initial thoughts after hearing this prayer?
That's quite strong, guys.
Quite strong? Yeah, what else could you say about it?
It's the answer to our problems in this world.
Okay, yeah, that's also good.
Faith in Krishna is really strong.
Okay, her faith in Krishna is really strong. You're just doing some understatements today, right? Yeah, her faith's really good actually, Prabhu. Yeah, I like her. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yes, what else?
In the suffering, Queen Kunti says that she turned to Krishna, so she thought of Krishna in that suffering.
Nice, yeah. There's two types of darshans going on here. Have you noticed? What's the first darshan that she's talking about? Seeing what? Yeah, okay.
Seeing Krishna again.
Seeing Krishna in those calamities, okay? And what's the second type of darshan?
Not seeing repeated birth and death.
Yes, we have darshan of samsara, repeated birth and death. So if we manage to switch our darshan from one category to the other, then actually we out of the cycle of karma. Yeah, does that make sense? So within this ocean of repeated and birth and death, again, I'm going back to the same example of Prabhupada, you have to learn to see Krishna. If you see Krishna even in the material world, you don't see repeated birth and death. Does that make sense? So it's darshan within darshan that doesn't allow you to see the darshan that you just came from. Right? It's like going through one door to another, and then you don't need to look backwards at the first door anymore. Yeah.
You know, Queen Kunti, like, she saw Krishna like at all times. So why was it that she asked for calamities to be able to see Krishna? Couldn't she just
just say, yo, without the calamities?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, that's good. Good point. We're going to do that today or probably next week, I guess. But just to again, so we understand the context of this, remember, if you remember that picture I showed of Queen Kunti by the chariot and Krishna's about to leave. Does that make sense? Krishna's about to leave and she's thinking she may never see Krishna again because Krishna used to come and save them. But now we're back on the kingdom. Now we've got all the wealth. Now I've got all the security for my sons and my grandchildren. Krishna doesn't really need to come, and therefore I'm worried I may never see Krishna again. So now look at this poem again, this verse. She's wishing to go back in time if it means that Krishna will stay with her. Yeah, does that make sense? That's much better than having the kingdom, having the riches, having everything that that was taken away from us, but never seeing you again.
On a sort of personal level, if you got everything you needed, you would forget about Krishna, and then Maya would come and take over. You've got all opulence, everything you need, you forget about Krishna. So,
very nice.
We normally pray for happiness, but actually she's praying for suffering, so she thinks about Krishna more.
Yeah, you can imagine, she's got everything back, and her thought is, if you leave us, our greatest joys in life will become the source of our distress. Whatever's giving me joy, happiness, satisfaction, safety in life, if you're not there somehow, if I don't see you, if I don't think of you, if I don't hear you, all of those things will become like a prison, will become like the forest of exile for us again. Yeah? And even though we were in exile, because you were there one way or another, directly, indirectly, we felt happy. Yeah, Gaurav.
So in the previous verses, somewhere you mentioned that Krishna was not directly involved and it was a belief or thought process that he was...
I said seemingly. It seemed like Krishna wasn't directly involved. Yeah.
So, I mean, Queen Kunti never actually saw Krishna unless, other than few occasions. So when she was in calamity or the family was in trouble, she believed that Krishna was there to help.
Yeah.
That's right. And then compared to current situation, like Queen Kunti, we all are in some or other calamities. It not be that big, but everybody's in small calamities also looks like big calamity.
Okay. Yeah.
So we all are in certain situation. We are all in a journey, and we all pray to Krishna, because for us that calamity is not smaller, right? Everybody thinks that my calamity is big.
Yeah.
And even that smaller calamity, we pray to Krishna. So I mean, we all are in the same journey like Kunti.
Yeah, from one point of view, we're on the same journey as Kunti, and that's good. Our consciousness may not be as evolved as Kunti, because she's obviously a pure devotee from the spiritual world, but taking that aside, Queen Kunti also has been quite humble in these prayers. So she's seeing Krishna and thinking of Krishna all the time, not just in distress. She's not mentioning the happy times here, but the context of this is because you're going to leave us. That's the biggest calamity, right? So that's like the context to understand it. Does that make sense, Gaurav? We can't really extrapolate it beyond that context. Is that fair to say? Yeah? Okay, yeah, Smith?
Quite interesting. Really nice to see that she's not just speaking about herself, that I could see her again and again. Like, she's speaking from compassion that she wants everyone to...
Yeah, definitely. She's still speaking on behalf of everyone as well. You know, in the material world, there's this term, sadomasochism. Yeah? So, does anyone know what masochism is?
Inflicting pain, right?
Yeah, inflicting pain on yourself and to get some perverted pleasure out of this, okay? So then, and sadist is they inflict pain on others to get some pleasure from themselves. Masochism is when you get pain or humiliation yourself and then you feel sort of happy. It's weird, but anyway, there's people that do it. It's a material world. Anything could happen here. It's perversion, and within the perversion you get even more perverted. So from one point of view, this looks a bit like masochistic, right? If I was to pray, yeah, Krishna, just pile it on me. Yeah, ready. Like, you know? Sounds a bit masochistic, right? It's like, yo. But the essence is, for a devotee, darshan of Krishna, whatever the cost. That's the bottom line, yeah? Whatever the cost might be, I'm willing to go through that pain, through that humiliation, whatever, so long as I get to see Krishna. Yeah? That's the bottom line. So it seems a bit like masochism, but it's not. This is the original, okay, feeling, or the desperation. So although this seems to defy common sense, we're going to go through this today, probably like next week a little bit more so, because we're going to try and understand her logic behind it, her experience of happiness and distress. So let's just go through a few points initially. So this is one thing that will happen when we practice the gratitude that Queen Kunti was speaking about. One day we'll be able to say this prayer and mean it, just like Queen Kunti did. Because she was able to see Krishna at all times, and especially during the difficulties, she could say this with confidence. Just kind of, Ajay was saying, he's had to practice to some degree seeing this. If we don't practice, we won't see this, we can't make this prayer because we've not practiced any gratitude. We're not getting darshan of Krishna in the material world, behind the dots, right, of our life. Does that make sense? So we have to learn to see this. Then we could also utter such a prayer. I've heard many devotees saying, you know, I just don't say this prayer to Krishna. But like I said, there's no harm in saying this prayer and in your mind saying to Krishna, maybe one day I'll become elevated like your devotee, Queen Kunti. Yeah? Because this is your devotee and you've allowed me to understand her mindset, right? So this is what unconditional love means, right? Unconditional surrender means. So a few more points. Okay. Ultimately, our suffering will go down the more attached we are to Krishna. I'm going to spend a bit more time on this in the next slide. Actually, let me just say a few points and then I'll maybe draw something on the diagram here. So one of the acharyas, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he's commenting and saying, Krishna is sending suffering as the ointment. And if we take that ointment and apply it to our material vision, we could start seeing Krishna's hands behind everything. If instead of taking that ointment, we start using the medicines and the concoctions and the philosophies and the counseling of this material world, but we don't take that medicine, that anjan, and put it to our eye, we won't be able to see Krishna. You could come to the temple all you want, you could chant all you want, but in this lifetime you won't be able to see Krishna, because Krishna wants you to take this as an ointment. Yeah? Wants you to be able to see. Like, I often say this in the 10th chapter, Krishna is saying all these items that constitute spiritual knowledge. And amongst them, he says, dukkha dosh anudarshanam. See the faults of material world. Janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi, dukkha dosh anudarshanam. Unless someone is seeing repeated birth, death, old age, disease, seeing this as dosh, a fault, you can't really be elevated in spiritual life. That make sense? Yes, Harsh.
Yeah, I was just reading the second point. Kind of reminded me of I listened to this lecture of Keshav Swami was saying that when we suffer, it's so that we can deepen our service attitude.
Yeah, definitely. These are all, I think one of the verses we spoke, these are all invitations from Krishna to go a bit deeper. Of course, it's easier said than done. I'm not on this level. I'm not inviting more calamities. But calamities will come whether you ask them for them to come or not, right? We've all experienced that, hopefully, isn't it? So in one sense now, we're forced to just rely on Krishna, see Krishna's hand, see how this is helping us to see beyond the poison. So if I was just to draw this out, let's just say, okay, let's go for it. So let's just say this is us here. We're called sadhakas. Should I just stand here? What does sadhakas mean? Sadhaka? Yeah, devotee. One who practices sadhana is sadhaka. So chanting every day, hearing, reading, deity worship, honouring prasadam, associating with the devotees. All the 64 limbs, or it doesn't have to be all 64, but the limbs of bhakti, one is practicing every single day. To some degree they're a sadhaka. And then one day one will get bhakti, love and devotion for Krishna, right? Now, in this journey, to go from here to there, we've got to do a few things. We've got to make the right choices. Whenever Maya tempts us, we've got to make the right choice. Even if we fall to Maya, we've got to get up and think, okay, not this time. And then when we make more good choices, we get further and further up. And also, here is Krishna's grace, his mercy. Like, when we spoke about the Damodar Leela, 2 fingers too short, the second finger is Krishna's mercy. But, in, maybe I'll bring another pen. I'm feeling colourful today. What colour? Back in the day, it was just navy blue, black, grey, and brown. No, forget orange back in the day, man. Even orange now, not feeling it. Sometimes, some devotees give me some super orange jumper, and I'm like, yo, wear this thing, man. I feel like chucking it in the bin right there, but I've got to be cordial, So yeah, dark blue, okay? But sometimes we have, in science, something called a catalyst, right? What's the purpose of a catalyst? Speeds it up, right? It speeds up. Yes, okay, here we go, yo. Yeah, look at him now. You can look at him now, right? Got it, right? See, you only look at him when you both get the right answer, but when he gets the right answer, you don't want to acknowledge, yeah? Okay. Catalyst. So it speeds up the reaction, as Gaurav says, without getting involved itself, right? So what is the catalyst that speeds this up? Calamities. If we take it in the right spirit. Yeah? This is what this verse is all about. Calamities will come. You can't protect your life in such a way you'll never get calamities. Even if you're living in a £20 million apartment with 24-hour security, which includes security guards, you've got an amazing bed, you've got gold pillars, your room is like a palace within a palace, still you could be the most depressed, insecure, suffering individual in the whole world, right? There's nothing you could do materially that could protect you from this. So the calamities will come according to your karma. Krishna is saying, or Queen Kunti is saying, if you take it in the right way, they can become catalysts in your spiritual journey. Yeah? Okay, so let's just quickly go into the Sanskrit of this verse. Actually, no, this is a bit long for me because I'll have to, this will be the last or penultimate point. Has anyone got the Sanskrit for the verse? Can you just bring it out for verse 25 for me? Yeah, someone? And just read out the Sanskrit for me. Vipada santu tashashvat tatra tatra. Okay, just going to take all day if you guys do it, right? Bhavato da. Yeah, okay, say it out loud. Yeah, go for it.
Vipada santu tashashvat tatra tatra jagat guru. Bhavato darshanam yat syat.
Apuna bhavadarshanam. So say the second line again.
Tatra tatra jagat guru.
Jagat Guru. So she's calling Krishna the Guru of the universe. Yeah? Very important. So Krishna is the Guru of the whole world. And how is he the Guru? He's leading us back to good health. How is he leading us back to good health? By sending us medicine. And sometimes that medicine is going to be bitter. So you know when people say, yo, I'm sending you love and light, sending you healing, yeah, that stuff happens now, right? All of a sudden, these things just go around in cycles. I've noticed, yeah, sending you love and light. So, what? I've got light in my room, man. What are you talking about? I'm not living in Ethiopia. Like, whoosh. Got some electricity. You know? It's Krishna only who's sending the healing. We just don't see it. He's got to make us uncomfortable in this material world that we're trying to fall in love with, right? Isn't it? Otherwise, where's the impetus to want to leave? There is no impetus. So we have to see it's Krishna that's the master physician, the doctor, and he's sending all these things. Okay, so, all right, next week, let's just do it next week because it's 8:45. I've got some killer examples. So we're going to stick with this thing and speak about how Krishna's suffering is leading to good health in various examples. And we're going to go through some of Vishwanath Chakravarti's commentary. By the end of it, hopefully, you'll be able to see suffering in this material world as how Krishna sees it, as how it was designed. And I'm hoping by the end of it, you can make at least a bit more peace about any suffering or difficulties that's happened in your individual lives. That was the aim. That's why I'm spending a bit more time on this rather than just skipping from this to the next verse. Is that fair enough to say? Does anyone have any quick questions, thoughts or reflections before we just finish with some announcements?